I don't know what happened with this general. There is still a problem, though. I would perhaps like him to make his mea culpa if he was sent in and realizes that this was not the right mission, if he was misled. He should say so publicly or otherwise before the Senate, admit that he made a mistake. Or if it was done with bad intentions, we will confront him as necessary, because everything he said is a lie. It's very shameful to see an adult lie, to see an adult, a general officer of a great army, lie. It's very serious. First of all, he talked about Burkina's gold, which he claims we used to protect ourselves and all that. First, it's Burkina's gold, it's not his gold. That's the first thing. What business is it of his? It has nothing to do with him. Burkina, it's Burkina's gold, it doesn't concern him. Second thing, he's lying. Because Burkina never had any gold reserves until we came. We are the ones who started setting aside gold in the treasury of Burkina Faso. Otherwise, there wasn't a single gram of gold reserves in Burkina. That means he's a liar again. Another thing, when he says that we use it to protect ourselves and all that, we are free. If the people have decided that we should govern them, we have a duty to protect ourselves. So we are free. How is it any of his business? And the part that hurt me the most, not because he's a general or because he's American or anything, but because he's black. It hurts a lot to see that they use a black man to fight against another black man. And this didn't just start now. It has to stop. You see, it's very dangerous. Even Libya. Who destroyed Libya? Again, they used a black man. In movies back in the day, in America, black people always played the bad guy. But we told ourselves, that's just in the movies. Why do black people keep playing the bad roles? I think that if he heard this interview, he should look at himself in the mirror, feel ashamed, and come out to say, well, I was given a false report, I regret it. He needs to say it publicly. If it was a false report, then it was made. Because it's possible that he was given a false report and that he should come out and say it, because you saw when I take another neighbor, again, as I said, among us black people, the Ivorian Minister of Defense, who goes to Turkey, meets the Turkish Minister of Defense, and tells him that they won't sell us weapons.
Look, I want you to do me a favor. Don't skip this video. If you really love Africa and you have been following what is going on between Ibrahim Traoré and the American, the France and co, right? I want you to listen to the end of this video. Listen to the interview Ibrahim Traoré granted to a Russian journalist. I want you to pay attention. We are going to calm down and analyze the whole interview in this video.
They can't go a single day without talking about Burkina or the AES. It's impossible for them. And every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication, they managed to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to spread lies. As a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa or what Africa has accomplished. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines as cannon fodder. And when they returned, they were killed like animals. Do people know that when France tested its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they placed nearby in the blast radius to see what would happen? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they've used against Africa is terrible. So all of this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many who are asleep and continue to speak on behalf of the imperialists. Whatever they're told to say, they do it. Maybe it's because, well, they're given something, I don't know. But Africans need to understand their history and wake up. So that's our fight as well. My biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radio stations like RFI and France 24. I've been in countries where those radio stations were shut down. But we would use apps to record their news broadcasts so we could listen. But at some point, something clicked. I started to realize that they were conditioning our minds to accept what they wanted. It's their narrative that they want us to learn. And since then, I've started to see things for what they are. And I understood that what they're doing is very dangerous. And today, more than ever, I realize that they have conditioned the minds, especially of Africans. So you can play a big role in awakening the consciousness of young people so that people understand how the world works and don't let themselves be led astray by those people. When we watch the parade of the machines that won the war, that is the T-34s up to the modern vehicles, it shows us the technological evolution of the Russian army, and it inspires us as well to get to work so that we can develop in the same direction. Relations are going very well, and I can say that for the past 2 years now, things have started off very well, and we are working on deepening the areas of defense and security, but also education, and later on, the commercial sector and other aspects. So we have staggered the different areas so that we can exchange a lot and share many experiences, because we also have a lot to learn from Russia in the field of education, especially in the sciences. Now, it must be said that up to today, gold is the main export product in Burkina Faso. But we have set agriculture in motion, first for self-sufficiency, but also for foreign trade and export. The terrorists are reinforced by many foreign fighters who come from elsewhere, who are not, in fact. If I take the case of Burkina Faso, there are many criminals in Burkina Faso, but they are not Burkinabe. There are also trainers who come from many countries to teach them a lot of techniques.
But what is their interest?
It's not really terrorism, it's imperialism. Their goal is to keep us in a state of permanent war, so that we cannot develop and so they can continue to plunder our resources. So they have every interest in bringing in specialists in mines to lay various types of mines and explosives experts. Today, the terrorists use drones to fight and everything. So these are professionals from certain countries who come to teach them all of this. All of this is to keep us in a state of insecurity. But we are aware of the situation. We adapt each time to their methods of operation, and we will continue the fight until we have recovered the entirety of the Sahel. So all the countries that are fighting today for their more economic independence, we are trying to collaborate better with these countries, because it is a form of oppression by imperialism. It is necessary for those who are oppressed to unite in order to confront this hegemony. So we are moving forward gradually. There are many structures to put in place, and there are many areas that need to be upgraded in the three countries. Because as you know, from an economic standpoint, we are not at the same level, and from a military perspective, there are many aspects to consider. We need to try to balance things out. And so this requires the establishment of many structures and numerous meetings. And free movement requires a certain number of parameters to be put together. You must have seen that we did a lot of work to come up with a single security document for travel and everything. So it's evolving and things are going very well. I think they themselves contributed to diminishing their own influence, because they have a paternalistic view of our relationship. You see, whenever you look at everything we do, every initiative we take, it's always about Russia. Someone speaks and they say they're influenced by Russia. Everything that happens, it's Russia. Why do they have their eyes closed like that? So Africans aren't capable of developing anything. Africans aren't capable of inventing, innovating, or taking initiatives. That's what we're fighting against. And look at their speeches. Look at their speeches. Even the French president, always in his speeches, says that young Africans are influenced by Russia. It said, and if you listen to Western media, they spend all their time lying. And look today, the AES, which is a model that's starting to take shape, they can't go a single day without talking about Burkina or the AES. It's impossible for them. And every time they try to spread information, to divide, to manipulate the youth. But it doesn't work anymore. I think people are aware enough. Now people have their eyes open. Through communication, they manage to rewrite history. And as for African history, they schemed everything to spread lies. As a result, some young Africans don't even know the history of Africa or what Africa has accomplished. Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put on the front lines as cannon fodder, and when they returned, they were killed like animals.
Alright guys, I know many people have been waiting for Ibrahim Traoré to respond to General Michael Langley, the American general, for saying that he uses the gold of Burkina Faso to enrich himself. I know many people have been waiting for the response. And he did. He finally responded to the general after his interview. He granted interview to Russian journalists. And his response was so good. This man is very, very intelligent. Ibrahim Traoré is very, very intelligent. He's not even been hyped enough. To be honest, I have come across a lot of African leaders, and I can tell you right here that he is rare. This man is intelligent, he's gifted, and he is wise. Listen to the way he responded. It was translated to English. It's French, but I can tell you I have already confirmed from people that speak French and say that it's even more inspiring when you listen to, if you understand French and listen to it in French. To tell you that he knows, he understands the situation on ground and he follows the news. Ibrahim Traoré is a good man. Anyway, I would love to know what you think in the comment section. I remain Oscar Films, and please, this channel, we just started this channel, you understand, we had issue with the other one, so please kindly subscribe. You have been following me on Facebook and TikTok. I want you please to help me to grow this channel. I would love to know what you think in the comment section. Subscribe as usual. Thanks, and see you in the next video.